Hi guys, I'm Karisu, writer for Asset Legends, and today I'm joined by KUNDIKUNDI, the coach from Big. How are you, KUNDIKUNDI?
I'm fine, and I'm very glad to be here.
So my first question for you, KUNDIKUNDI, will be, how did you get into esports? This is like a really general question I do to everyone. So what's your story?
My story, long story short, back in the days, I started CS 1.5 actually at 7 years old. I have over 10,000 hours in CS 1.6. Never played it competitively, but it was fun for me. I got a little bit mechanical skills out of that. After CS, I played a little bit Bloodline Champions. Maybe most of you listeners don't, or who is watching this video is not familiar with that game, but that was my first competitive game. I tried a little bit try hard there, and after that, I didn't play anything since after like 2016. I think I tried Overwatch. I was pretty good at the start, but I stopped playing for I think 4 or 5 years because I started at university, and then happened this little pandemic that everyone knows. And I was suddenly in a situation that I'm in a home, no social life anymore, too much time, and I have this computer. So that's around the time when Valorant came, and we started playing with friends, and that's how I got into Valorant. But yeah, esports, like I have always liked games. I like the competition, but I never did like try hard in it. And CS:GO, for example, wasn't a game for me. I tried it at the start, but the game didn't feel good, and I didn't have any passion for it. So that's why like I don't have any kind of like zero esports background. But yeah, Valorant was my truly first game where I really tried hard.
So how did you decide to become a Valorant coach? Was something like that you really liked, or how did it happen?
Well, I was player and in-game leader before I started coaching career, and I always knew that after at some point, of course, my player career will end. It happened very, very fast, but I knew that I will be great coach. But actually, like last 2021 August, I stopped my playing career, and I was like, hey, I will finish my master's thesis in university, and I will not like. I think I will forget about this esports dream. And then, like, it wasn't actually my decision, but like Kaspe, who is of course now playing in the big and was in back in the day, in the August, like asked in the Snapchat. I'm boomer, but still I have Snapchat. So he asked me, hey, like, what are you doing nowadays? And like, he was in my team past, so he knew me very well, and I was in-game leader for him for many months. And I think it was maybe one of his first Valorant teams actually where we picked him up as a no-namer young talent, and he has a great future ahead. But yeah, he asked what am I doing nowadays, and he joined Big, and they maybe need a coach. Do you want to try out? And I was like, yeah, I can do it, but I need to finish my master's thesis. So yeah, let's see what happens. And yeah, well, now I'm all in this coaching, and my master's thesis is a little bit on the background. But yeah, that's how I got in the coaching career.
So for those who are not like very familiar with the coach, the job of a coach, can you like describe what you do, like your day-to-day, maybe your routine, like when do you start scrims, you do board reviews, things like that?
It depends a lot, and which kind of like do we need to build something new? Do we like, for example, a few months ago, my normal day would have been like theory crafting and familiarizing myself for a new map or like new lineup, and like that depends a lot which kind of like goal we have for the practice and for that week, that month. But nowadays, usually when I wake up, I a little bit like what I do work related is that I try to think a little bit new stuff, a little bit like think what is like our weakness, what we need to achieve today in the practice, what is really important and what is not. And it's not only about like fixing the little details nowadays, maybe thinking something new. And I spent like few hours per day for it before the practice. And of course, when our practice starts, it's from 6 to 8 hours, depends. We have Kasper is going to school still, so that limits our hours per day. And after the practice, my head is like a few hours, like there's too many ideas and thoughts. So I try to think about and write some things down, and that's like my normal day. But it really depends what the team need and what I need to do. So sometimes it's a lot of VOD reviews of the other teams. Currently, I think that I don't get that much from the VOD reviews because I watch our games every game we play, like I'm spectating, and after the games we watch them a little bit together. So like I watch a lot of Valorant daily. So like, and when we prepare, of course, for the tournaments, I will watch a lot more. But currently, when we are preparing for EMEA, like we are not in the undistracting phase. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things.
So a follow-up question would be, how do you prepare for opponents in general? Do you prepare for teams that play different style? Because there are teams like they are more like strategic, teams that prepare more, that play more on the fly, right? So how do you prepare for those types of teams?
Well, how deep I can go here depends a lot on the team. I maybe throw myself under the bus, but when I say that, I think the most of the teams I don't even need to prepare that much.
Mm-hmm.
For some teams, I can do my whole preparation for BO3 under 1 hour, maybe even 30 minutes. Because their playbook is so, it's not deep, let's say like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes I feel that preparation is like, it feels too easy. And it's, of course, if there's what to watch, I will watch every VOD and think myself what is the answer for what they're doing. And most of the teams are not changing anything, even in the top. And that's something what was really surprising for me. And that's why my preparation has been, I think, really good level. But of course, there are some teams like it's really hard to prepare. You don't know what they will play, how they changed stuff during the game. They changed lineups, and like, of course, those teams are a lot harder. But I think still I can find from the VODs and past some answers for what they're doing. So yeah, preparation. Sometimes it's very easy VODs, and sometimes it's going for a lot deeper analysis of what the enemy is doing. But so far, I can say that there has been only one team in officials we have played in the past with Big that I have myself thought that this team it's going to be very hard because I have kind of I don't know what they are really doing. And every other team we have faced, I have really clear plan. And actually, not me only. Of course, our leader, Cop B, is like doing a hell of a job in that. It's not like me only doing the job, I must say. But like every other team, like it feels like I have a very clear idea what they are doing, what they are going to do, what is their strength, what is their weakness, and its preparation is like easy. At least I feel like that.
So how is it to work with such a talented group of players? It's like when you came into Big, did you look at this roster and say, okay, we can be one of the best teams in Europe and be like a tier 1 team? Were something like that, looking at these players, you thought the moment you saw the roster?
Actually, the first day when I was on tryouting the Big, I was like, okay, like I don't know about few of these players. I know the names. For example, Aslan, I knew him from beta. He has good aim. I of course knew from the CS days the Gobbi.
Yeah.
I knew Kasper from my teams. I didn't have any clue who is Obnox. I know Twisten played in some other teams before, but like no really clue who he is. But first tryout day, I was like, man, there's a lot of work to do with this team. But like, I wouldn't have taken the job as a coach if I didn't believe that this has potential to win championship.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a few days to like see that there truly is potential, but I knew from the day one that there will be a lot of work, and I told the guys that we need to work hard, and that's like my thinking. And also, I think talented players, like I see a lot of talented players in the scene, but some players think that like when you have enough talent, you have really good aim, you're individually mechanically very good, that sometimes make players lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that makes me a little bit sad because I was never a player who had really good talent, like mechanically. Of course, I can do my job. Maybe some people say that Valorant it's easier, the skill level is lower, but I don't care. I was good enough, I think, mechanically to play, and like I had to think like how when I was player and in-game leader, and I wanted to be tier 1 at one point, so I had to think these players, other players, they have 10,000 hours on CSGO. Like, I haven't played for 4 or 5 years any PC game, kind of. I'm 25 years old, now 26, and like, I don't have time. I need to break through in esports in 1, maximum 2 years before like life realities hits me. I'm still studying, of course, but like I needed to find job in few years. So that made me like think like how can I outsmart these other people? Not just like aim wise, because of course you can train aim. I tried it a lot, played a lot of aim labs and like aim practice. I needed it, but I had to come up with some other solutions, and that's how I have, I think, now the competitive edge to compare. I don't know about other coaches, but I think what is my strength is because I had to think something else than aim or mechanics, how to win the games and the duels, because I couldn't go for the aim duel, for example. I didn't play much against, for example, Scream, but he's a good example. How me, as a player, would win him in aim duel? Only with my brain, but of course he has big brain also, so like I had to work really hard to get there. I didn't have any talent, and I wasn't lazy. Like, it's for me, it's only about the work ethic. If I had the same aim as these young kids nowadays have, I would be a very good player, but sadly I didn't have it.
Like you talked about, work ethic is really important, and you guys also had a lot of time to work. There are a lot of teams and other big organizations that don't quite keep the roster as long, right? When there's a disappointment in a tournament that doesn't go as well, there's instantly a roster change. Do you think like the way you go about keeping the roster, working with the guys, knowing they have potential and let them develop with time, it's the best way for the team to succeed in the long term?
I think that if you truly want to see the potential of the team, it's not going to happen in 3 months. Of course, you can see the honeymoon period, but the real work starts after the honeymoon period. And I can say finally that we only could show our potential first time in this January. It took us, I think, 4 months, a lot of hard work, a lot of more officials than the normal teams play, because we played in German scene, a lot of tournaments, thanks to them. And like it took a lot of time, and the organization in the start, when I was tryouting for them as a coach, they said that this will going to be a long-time project. And that was really important for me. And I think it's needed. But also, I have to say this because in the VCT, like, yeah, every other organization was like, yeah, we had only one week to prepare, and like, I'm just asking what you guys were doing in the last year after the VCTs, because I tryouted in September, I think. We had the players already, I think, in September. Then we worked hard for 4 months. Then VCT came. Okay, I was surprised it came 7 days earlier than I thought myself, but we weren't really surprised. We had worked already, and like, for me, it's kind of excuse for many teams that, yeah, we didn't have much preparation. But also maybe not the blame is the teams, but maybe the organizations. But definitely it needs time, hard work, and it's also about you need to find the right pieces, because in the past I have heard a lot of stories that maybe the teams or organizations don't know what they are looking for. Like, they think maybe they know what they're looking for, but reality
Didn't.
Maybe that is the reason. Yeah, but maybe that is the reason why some teams are there for like 1 or 2 months and change players again. There must be some wrong if that happens a lot. Of course, there's can be like someone who's really good at tryouts and like very potential, and like everything seems good. And when you play with him 1 month, you can see that, okay, this is not maybe the fit. That can happen. I say that, but if it happens for your organization and team all the time, maybe the blame is somewhere else than the players. I don't know, but that's my idea.
So, like you touched about, every player you have to find the right pieces, right? And it's hard to find the right pieces. Like, what are the things and the intangibles that each player you have in your roster brings to the team that makes Big one of the best teams in Europe right now?
Well, yeah, before I go to the details in that, I must say that I didn't choose any players. Players were there before me. I was the last piece in the puzzle, but I was quite lucky that we got the pieces now we have. And it's amazing job from the organization, from our manager Alban, our leaders and other players. I think the core was Aslan, Obnox and Gob, of course, and they did good job in that. But what every player brings, let's start from Twisten. Crazy energy. The guy is crazy in a good way, and like he's kind of like every team needs that X factor who can just like go crazy in one round, get 4 kills, like just change the whole game by himself. Of course, he was a rough diamond, but I think he really wants to learn. He has improved a lot, and that's like what I really appreciate. But the energy is the most important thing that guy gives for our team, and he's the hype guy who is really excited for the thing. And I like a lot working with young players because I'm 26 years old. I'm from Finland, and like this energy what these guys give me, it's huge. And I never had it as a Finnish typical person. But yeah, that's Twisten. A lot of energy and really crazy mechanical skills. Let's start then other youngster, Kaspe. But he's like opposite of Twisten. And I mean like that's the typical Finnish person. He's like a soldier. Everything you say to him, he's like, okay, I will do it. Like, no questions asked. Hey, Kaspe, you need to do this. Okay. Kaspe, hey, this wasn't good from you. Yep, okay, I will fix it. Like, we really need those soldiers in the game. And when I was in-game leader, that was the type I wanted because as an in-game, it's like chess for me when I was in-game leader. Maybe it's for Gob also, but for me as a coach also. Like, but you need sometimes the soldiers do what you want, no questions asked, and they understand the game very well. And Kasper is a really funny guy. He didn't talk much at the start, but now he's getting a little bit more relaxed and like talking a lot more and taking like initiative in the game. So that's like a really good asset we have. And it's also like not everyone can be the crazy energy person because that may clash sometimes. So Kasper is very well in that. And of course, like that talent and he plays the roles at 16 years. Like this is now today is his birthday. Happy birthday if you're watching Kasper. He's 17 now. But it's crazy that at that age, with that talent, mechanical skill, he picks the roles, kind of super roles. Of course, he played Sentinel in past. He still plays Sentinel. Now he plays Astra at some maps. Like, normally these kids play duelist. They want the frags. They want the flashy highlight, but he's team worker. And that's like crazy for me. And that's like huge thing for me and our team. Then Aslan. Past he played Duelist in Big. Now he plays in some maps Duelist. Some maps he plays Viper, for example. Some maps Astra. He's very flexible. He's a guy who really wants to win. And that's like what I really appreciate. That, like, of course, I'm not saying that other players don't want to win, but
yeah.
I can see from him, and he gets like a little bit angry if he loses duel. And I don't mean like tilt way, but he's like, next round I will get that guy. Like, you know, he wants to win the duels and win the game and working a lot. And his X factor with those characters he has, and that's a real big thing. And he's also like, I had very great discussions with him about the game and how I see it and how he see it, and like I appreciate him as a player a lot. Then we have Nico Opnox. He's hard worker, crazy. Maybe one of like we have really good aimers. Like I have said already, Twisten, Aslan, Kasper, but Nico is one of the craziest aimers I have ever seen in the game. Like just pure aim, but it's easy for people to see. Yeah, he's only about aim, but the amount of he puts time for the game, and he doesn't make like, yeah, I'm watching 6 VODs a day. Like he doesn't put himself in the pedestal, you know. Like he works in his own, watches VODs, like trying to, understand the game more, and like I think he will be a very big thing in the future, and I'm glad to have him on the team, and really cool person. And of course, one of the last players, Gobby, the leader. What I can say, like one of the smartest people I have ever met. Like the amount of ideas and new ideas, how he sees the game, how he sees the little things. Like I'm almost surprised every day, kind of when I'm with him, that how this guy comes up with his ideas, and I appreciate him a lot. And something I must say that not many people like they can't notice, but like his work ethic, he's really professional. I can always trust that he's on time. He has warmed up. When we play, he's kind of like never autopilot mode. Like some of the like, of course, when you play 6 hours a day, you can at some point be like autopilot. I just be in my job, like don't think about, but all the time thinking. So like, I didn't know these persons exist. I had a little bit same traits as him as an in-game leader, and don't think that I never think that I'm that good. I don't have the experience. I don't have any winnings as in-game leader, but I had a little bit the same mindset. So I like that's crazy good for our team, and he's the backbone for our team. So yeah, that's what he brings to the table, and he brings a lot. And something I must say also that it's not only the players and me, it's also our like manager Alban, who takes care of everything, that we can only focus on the Valorant. That's the most important thing. And of course, the whole organization, it's like they're backing us up. So it gives us a huge energy in the bootcamp, for example, when our CS team, CS Academy team, League of Legends team, like they're watching our games and like coming like, yeah, nice win, guys. And like it gives like extra motivation and boost for the officials. And it's like, it's the whole package. What makes us one of the best teams in Europe. And I think you haven't seen us in the A level yet.
So like you spoke lastly, Gobby is one of the most experienced players in all of esports, right? He had a really long and successful career in CSGO. Now he transitioned into Valorant. Like, how big is he for this team? Like, how important is his experience that he brings to the team?
How can words describe? Like, he's the backbone of the team. Like, he brings so much to the table. He teaches everyone, every player. Of course, I try to do my job. I try to teach my way how to play, and like we have some discussions with him, and like, but he like we wouldn't be here without him. And I just can't praise enough how smart the guy is, the work ethic, like everything. He's so professional. But one thing also that people don't see is that he's also very good. If you would see his POV, I watch every day him play, and the things he does in server. Of course, it's not the multi kills like aces that much, not the flashy kills, but the utility and everything. It's like crazy good. And for example, he's the best Sova in the world, hands down. And if there's any Sova players who want to learn the game, just try to watch him. That's my only advice. But yeah, like the experience and everything. Like I don't need to teach him about the tactics. I don't need to teach him about the game. But what my role is that I try to keep mental high, give the mental help for him, sometimes give a little bit ideas and a little bit like, hey, what if this, what if that? But like he's mostly doing the tactical stuff. And when he does it at so very great level, I don't need to do it that much. I think I could do, but yeah, that's like dream come true for every organization or team to have that kind of leader. And I'm happy that at his age, he brings that much to the table and all the experience, and he still sometimes feels like he's like the 18-year-old kid with all the excitement he has. And yeah, that's shortly I tried to describe what he brings to the team, but words are not enough.
So you talked about earlier that when you joined Big, the roster was already assembled, right? And you were kind of like the last piece in the puzzle. And since you're joining, apart from Red Bull on Ground 2, you guys placed at least in the third spot every time. I think you won 5 or 6 tournaments, and you finished 2 in the close qualifier recently. So what are the secrets for the success you have been able to find, especially more recently?
Well, the question is there any secrets? I think no. Of course, most of the tournaments we have played was in the DACH scene, German scene. They are not like, I must say, of course, the scene is improving a lot. There's very good teams actually in the scene, but they are not like tier 1 tournaments. But of course, like what we needed to learn, that we need to play in the officials as we play in the practice. Of course, it's obvious. Everyone will say that, and every player I have met says that, yeah, I will play in the officials like in playing practice. That's bullshit for me. If you would compare their practice and the officials, most of the players don't play the same way. And that's a big problem. And that's why many teams struggle in the officials, and in scrims they're really good. Already when we started the tournament runs in last year, I knew that we know how to win games, but we weren't good at closing the games. That was our biggest problem, and that's something we have worked on. And like we finally showed it on a little bit on the VCT qualifiers, but we throw so many rounds that I think we shouldn't throw. That still there's a lot to improve, but not least now I can say that we know how to win games, and we know how to close the games, and it's only about working hard and smart and like understanding of the game. That's the biggest thing. And for our team, like, and me as a coach, I see the game as numbers. And if you want to win tournaments, do the deep runs, you must understand the numbers and the odds and what wins the games and what doesn't. For example, I never, as a past when I played, and now as a coach, I never needed our duelist to get 35 kills, going crazy, have his game of lifetime to win games, because I think that doesn't give us consistency. Of course, there's our duelists who can like carry every game, of course, but I want to win games with good teamwork, good fundamentals, good understanding of the game, good trading, like everything is that our duelist or any other player don't need to go for the superhero games and don't feel the pressure that, hey, I need to get multi-kill every round that we can win this game. Because if we can win with the teamwork and everything, it's like, that's the consistent thing for me. And that's we have worked from day one. And I hope that you will see it a lot more in the future.
So when you guys went to the Open qualifier, do you feel like prepared and confident that you had a good chance into not only make it to the close one, but also make it into challengers?
Of course, I believed that if we can play like in the practice we do, we can win every team.
Mm-hmm.
But when we truly realized that we can win and qualify for EMEA was when it was the last game of the Open qualifier against London United. Yeah, that was the last game of Open qualifier, and then we got the closed qualifier. But when we won that game, everyone knew that we can go very far. Before that, of course, we like believed, but we never. Of course, in Red Bull home ground tournament, we played against Liquid and was it Footballist and G2?
Yeah.
Like we have played a little bit against the tier 1 teams. We knew that if we do the right things, we can win games. But we weren't ready to win at Red Bull. But now, after the London United game, we were very confident, and we still didn't need our A game. I mean, like, of course, like if everything hits, you have super day, you can beat everyone. That's like obvious. But I mean, like, still we threw a lot of rounds, but still we won the game. We had good mental, and like it gave us a lot of confidence. And I think that brought us to the also EMEA, and yeah, that was the key moment for us, I think.
So now is the preparation going for the first stage one? Are you guys been preparing well? Are you going to have a bootcamp? Because there is a lot of teams that will have a bootcamp prior to the tournament. So how is it going?
Preparation is going good. We're trying a little bit new things. Of course, I can't say anything about those, but we will have. Not every player can go to bootcamp from us. As I said earlier, for example, Kasper has school. And sadly, school system in Finland is that you have to be at some point there to study. But most of the players will go to the bootcamp to the Berlin. There's the big office, and I think we will play most of the games from the bootcamp. And I think it gives a lot of. We can feel the improvement and performance boost the bootcamp gives us. So preparation is good, and we will go to the bootcamp, and let's see how it goes.
So you guys are on Group A, right? With Gambit, Liquid, London United, FPX, Navi. Like looking at these teams and the way you've been playing through, especially in the close qualifier, do you feel confident? Do you think you have a good chance of making into the playoffs?
Of course, yeah. Like my goal in this group is to get to the playoffs. That's the only goal for me, and that's like the minimum. We get to the playoffs, and then of course, every BO3 counts. This group stage will be hard, but when we get to the playoffs, I think then it will be a huge fight, and I would love to see those playoffs. And but of course, I think we can go to the playoffs. I think 3 best teams go to the playoffs. There's really good teams in our group. Every team is good. There's not bad teams at this level. We need to work hard, play very well to get to the playoffs. But of course, I believe that we can do it. And I'm really confident that the boost from the winning the closed qualifier or being second, whatever, gave us that it will also carry us in the EMEA group stage.
So who is the team like from this group or even from Group B that you are really looking forward to face in this tournament?
I actually said it before the drawing of the groups that I want to face Liquid and Gambit. Personally, I think those 2 teams are 2 of the best teams in the world. Of course, we haven't played against every other team in the world. It's hard to say. Only like seeing the VODs that like does this feel that this team is very good. But Liquid and Gambit, we got them our group, and those are the 2 teams I really want to face. Of course, we lost to the Liquid in Red Bull home ground, pretty hard. And like I have a little bit like revenge mode on from that. But yeah, that's the 2 teams I really want to face. Of course, the other teams are also like I have dreamed on facing them for many months, because like FPX, Navi, of course London United, we have a little bit like we won them last time, but I want to see how much they have improved from the last time, how much we have. So like every game will be really good.
So Thomas also said something that he was really looking forward to face you guys for the revenge in a good way. And he also talked about he wanted to play teams like Gambit and Team Liquid Fnatic, like you said, because he wanted to see like if the gap is really that big, like some people think. Do you think like the gap is really that big, or are you confident that yes, they are good teams, but they can be beaten?
I think there are good teams that can be beaten, definitely. And I think the gap, for me, of course, there's like different playstyles. Some are like structured, some are like react very well, some like rely on other things than the other teams. But I think every team in EMEA can beat every other team. And it's also about the performance on the official day. And for me, it's all about the mental thing. If for example, if we play like we do in the practice, we have good mood, we don't tilt, I think we can beat anyone, any given day. Of course, like depends on if enemy has like their A game and they are hitting everything they can, then it's like it's going to be a tight game. But I think the gap is not that big. Of course, you can see, for example, as I said, Liquid earlier, that for them, against them, for example, I think that they adjust and adapt so much better than maybe some of the other teams, and it makes game a lot more harder. And of course, there are teams that rely on the other things. Like I don't know what to say, but for example, Liquid, like I can see the gap, but they're definitely beatable. That's my point.
So, like you talked about, there are teams that play more in a more structured way, others that adapt more on the fly. So, How do you think you match up like playstyle wise against the teams that you're going to face on Group A?
I think very well. Of course, of course, I believe in us. I'm confident. Um, I think what makes, for example, us very good team that we don't have one play style. Many of the analysts or like on the broadcasts say that we are very structured and like we need to rely on really good calls. And like, of course, we have really good calls. We have one of the best in-game leaders in the world, proven. But like sometimes they don't know. Maybe like if you are not inside, you don't know how much structure we have or like. But we can do anything. That's like our strength. We can adapt. We can play very structured. We can do a lot of preparation. We can do zero preparation. Just adjust mid game, change things. Like that's our thing. Maybe all the guys haven't seen that yet, but if it's needed to win, we will do it. But also, I think against structured teams, they have prepared a lot beforehand. They have set up rounds. What is the answer for that? I think it's the answer for that is that we prepare also. For example, I can say one thing about closed qualifier when we played against Vitality, when we lost the first BO3, then we faced them on the decider game, BO5. They had really good set rounds on attack side on Breeze. We know exactly their utility, and like that's something when a team has very good set round, very good fundamentals, it's very hard mid-game to adjust there perfectly. But if you have time to prepare on the strategy, if the players know what to expect, it's only about the preparation. And also, if the enemy adjusts mid-game a lot, that's something you can do before the game. Like I can do every 20 scenario that what the enemy might do. So then it comes to up that how we can adjust when the enemy adjusts. So to win EMEA and go for the playoffs and do the deep runs, I think we need both play styles. And the teams who are only one-dimensional, in my world, they are weak, kind of like weak in sense, because if you only rely on your adjusting mid-game, there's weaknesses, and only if you're relying on that, your structure and you are doing the things that you have drawn in Valoplant, for example, that everyone does whatever like the drawing says, then there's weakness. But if you mix up the both styles, then it gets very tricky.
So overall, what can like the casters, the fans expect from you from being in the EMEA Challengers Stage 1?
What to expect from us? Something new, something old, maybe nothing changes, you never know. But what you will expect, I think it's big style that every game we play, it's tight. When I'm on the spectator slot, we are playing the officials, like we are leading maybe comfortably, and then like something happens and it goes like 13-11, or like we do huge comeback, or we go overtime. Like sometimes when we finish the game, I feel like 10 years older. So that's maybe something you will expect from us. Tight games, but in the end, I hope that we will be in the top. That's something to expect.
And what are your goals for this year, for this 2022 year? I suspect one of them would be making it to Masters, right? But long term, making it to Champions, what are the main goals for you guys?
One concrete goal for us a team, I think we share the same goal, is that we want to be in the Champions. Now, it's not only dream, now it feels like it's doable. This was very important for us a team to qualify for the EMEA, because it means that if we play well enough, we should be probably in the second Challengers also, and there's a real good shot to be in the Masters. There's not many slots. We need to work hard. We are not satisfied yet where we are. So, but it's doable now. It's not only a dream. We have done the first step. Then we need to do a few steps more to get there. And one also goal I have for our team is that this is the year we need to reach out our potential. The first step was that we need to play like we do in the practice. Nothing spectacularly different. And by that, I think when we practice very hard and smart, we do really good things on the practice. And by time and experience, I think I just want to see the potential we have. That's like my personal goal. And I don't know how to describe it more, but that's like at the end of the year, I can happily say that, hey, we did everything we could. We reached our potential, and let's see how far it went. I hope it was the champions run, maybe deep one there, but it's too early to say about anything. But it will be very sad after the year to say that, hey, we had this huge potential, we had huge opportunity to do great things, and we just failed. And that will be very sad for me. But if we work hard, I think there's not going to be sad times.
So, is there anything else you want to say to your fans, to big fans, the team, also the players?
Of course, all the fans, the support is amazing. The whole organization and the community around us is I can feel the energy that you guys give us. And of course, to my players, this is one of the few off days we have today before the VCT happens. So now it's time to rest and recover. And when the practice hard, we will work a lot harder than before, smarter than before. And yeah, I'm glad that I can be part of this team and organization, and I think we will achieve great things together.
So, Kundi, thank you a lot for agreeing to do this interview with me. I wish you guys a lot of luck in the EMEA Stage 1 Challengers, and maybe after you guys qualify for playoffs, we can do another interview and see how you are there. So thank you once again for joining me, and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and have a good day.